YouTube, how's it going? I'm back with another NFL draft video. Today's video is my guys of the 2018 NFL draft, my favorite prospects in the draft. I did this video last year, and as you can see, I had Alvin Kamara as my 16th overall player last year. He was one of my favorite players in the draft. That list also included Marlon Mack, Kenny Golladay, Ahkello Witherspoon, Marcus Williams. So we'll see who's on my list this year. Feel pretty confident about it. But yeah, let's get right into it. We'll go position by position, I guess. We'll start with the quarterbacks. I only have one on here. It's Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson should go in the top 12, given that quarterbacks are already overdrafted, and I do like his athletic ability. I think he will go mid to late first round, so I like him better than most people, I think. Big reasons why I like him a lot. It's hard to game plan against. When you watch film on him, like, you can't really... I know people are going to think they know what to do, but it's harder to stop than a regular quarterback, in my opinion. And I think if he's in the right system, I think he can be maybe the best quarterback in this draft. He can be very scary down the road. Going to be impossible to stop. So if he goes to the right system, that spread RPO, if we see some teams starting to get their quarterback and then change the game around them, build around them, I think if that's the case, I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. He's the guy I want, but you can't put him number one ranked quarterback because most likely he won't get the chance. He won't go to the right system because it's very rare. But I think we're starting to see more teams do more and more of that lately. Like Eagles, the Rams, they're building around their quarterback. So let's see if more teams do that. I think more teams should do that. But I like Lamar Jackson. I like his athletic ability, and he can throw. People compare him to RG3. RG3 was a deep thrower and a runner. Lamar Jackson is a better runner. I think he's faster. I think he's more athletic. And he can throw the ball deep, not as good as RG3. But everything else, intermediate and short passes, he's better than RG3 as a prospect. No doubt in my mind. Very good at rolling outside the pocket and throwing. There's a lot of categories he's better than RG3. But at the time, as an NFL thrower, people really love that RG3 can throw the ball downfield. And I think he could have been good if it wasn't for all those injuries. But I think my point is I think they're different prospects. People like to compare them. I think that's not fair. On to a running back. I got two running backs on this list. Sony Michel, running back from Georgia, should go first round. I think he ends up going early second. Not too big of a difference on where I think he should go and will go, but a guy during the year, once I saw him, I put him in that first round category before he was even getting first round talks or top 32 prospect talks. So that's why he's on this list. There's some guys that are on this list because I'm higher on them than most, and there's some guys that I just noticed right away before he got any talk, so that's why they're on the list. But I think he's the better Georgia running back prospect. I don't think there's no doubt in my mind, really. I think he's better than Nick Chubb as an NFL prospect. When you combine his vision, his burst, and his strength, it's something else. It's rare. A lot of problems with the running backs in the NFL is they cannot hit the hole. They can't find the hole and hit it that fast. That's why you don't see the speed running backs aren't the best in the league because they're really not that smart. They can't find the hole. This guy finds where the hole is going to be. He trusts his offensive lineman, and he doesn't have the greatest long speed. He's fast. It's better than what he timed, but his quickness through the hole is excellent, and then he's very elusive. He can break tackles. He's really got everything you want in an NFL prospect, a running back prospect, except for the pass catching, which he just didn't do a lot, maybe because he split with Nick Chubb. Georgia didn't do that a lot. I think he can do it. We just didn't see it. I think he can do it. I have a first-round grade on him, obviously, but I think he ends up going early second. We will see, though. Could sneak into the late first round. On to another running back. Talked about Alvin Kamara from last year. Well, here's his backup, his fellow Tennessee running back, John Kelly. I have a second-round grade on John Kelly. I think he will go third or fourth, though. I think he has the best stiff arm in the draft. If you watch him, he's a very aggressive dude. His stiff arm is so nasty. For his size, he is very, very strong, can break a lot of tackles, and he's an excellent pass catcher, maybe one of the better ones in the draft. So he's today's NFL's prototype running back. I don't know why he's not getting discussed more in the second round. Maybe it's just been kept quiet. Maybe a team pulls the trigger in the second round. I don't think he's as good as Kamara, obviously, because I had Kamara first round grade easily. But he's not really far off. Pretty similar. I think Kamara was a smarter runner, and I think Kelly's more of aggressive runner. That's how I split them up. But pretty similar. We've seen Kamara break tackles, but I think it happens because he's so smart. where he runs. He knows how to hit the hole, has better vision than Kelly. But Kelly is so aggressive. He's a football player is what he is. I like him a lot. Again, second round grade for him. Not sure why he's not getting talked about more. On to a receiver. This is usually on this list I don't have like the top tier guys, but I had to put a top tier guy here. And for receiver, it's Courtland Sutton. He is without a doubt my number one wide receiver. There's no question about it. At this time last year, he's my number one receiver. He would have been my number one last year in last year's class as well, even though it would have been much closer than this year. I think he should go top 16 easy. That should be the latest he should go, in my opinion. But I think he will go mid to late first, so not too far off there. It's just he's been on my board. He's been a target of mine since early last year, easily. I think he's an elite contested catcher. No one else can touch him in this class in that category. I think he compares to some of the best contested catchers in the NFL as prospects, and I think he can get better, obviously. I think he's very athletic for his size, and people knock him because they don't think he's fast enough, or can he get this much separation? I think he's very underrated in that department. I mean, he runs into 4.5s. Even 4.5s is fast for anybody, and then you look at his size and his strength, and it's crazy. That's crazy for him. We've seen him do, people knocking what he can do. He's just a downfield possession guy, sideline possession. We've seen him do way more than that at SMU. I know it's maybe a little weaker competition, but he was a man amongst boys there. That's what he was. He's a grown man, elite contested catcher. I'm sure about it. Let's hope he gets the chance to be a number one receiver in the NFL so he can prove me right here. On to an offensive lineman that I really like in this draft. Recently been a riser is Tyrell Crosby. I think he should go late first. Will go early second, so not much of a difference there. The reasons I really like him: high motor, mean, nasty blocker. You watch this guy, it's just you love his tape. It's a guy that you cannot dislike. Perfect example of what a football player is. When people use the term a football player, this is your guy right here. He's mean, not dirty, but he's mean, nasty. He wants to play. He loves the game. You got to like it. I think he's a tackle. People talking about he could start right away at guard. I'm for that too. Guards are pretty nasty. But I do like his play at tackle. So we'll see where he goes, what he plays. I hope he starts day one. But let's get on to some defensive guys here. Harold Landry, another top guy. I decided normally every year I do this, whether it's videos or recently or way in the past. I had my guys list, and usually it's not the top tier guys, but they're so underrated this year. Harold Landry to me is easily a top 10 player in this draft. I think he's gonna end up going mid first. His dip deck technique on the outside, you do not see that. There's not too many like it in the NFL, let alone prospect wise. It's elite. It's hard to block. You're gonna need a tackle with good outside movement to block it. And then if he develops an inside move, his inside move needs work. It's there, but if he develops it, if he goes to a right team, this guy's going to be unstoppable. And he's very smooth and athletic. We've seen it at the combine. We've seen in his tape for his size and his abilities. His technique is right there, and he's very athletic. It's impressive. I know maybe some say he's undersized, but I think he's a good size for the position. I think it'll be okay, and he's athletic enough to make it work at a high level. So I like Harold Landry a lot. I think he's one of the more underrated first-rounders in this class, especially how important pass rush is. You talk about quarterbacks get overdrafted because of how important the position is. Well, pass rushers are right there with the quarterbacks and how important the position is. So he deserves to go in the top 10. But will he? I don't think so. On to another pass rusher I really like is Dorrance Armstrong. I think he should go second round. I think he will go third. Could even drop to the fourth. I think he's a sack machine in the right scheme. 2 years ago, he was a sack machine, a production machine. Would have been a first-round pick lock if he came out that year, but stays. Kansas switching up a little bit, have him stand up more. He's getting double-teamed more, so he had an off year. I'm not worried about it. I think he's a freakish guy on the field. What I mean by that is, he didn't test poorly at all at the combine, but it wasn't what it looks like on the field, and to me, that's okay. That's a good thing. You'd rather have a guy be more of a freak on the field, which he is. So I think with the right scheme, I prefer him in a 4-3 end. I know everyone's talking about 3-4 out. I think he can play 3-4 outside linebacker. But I like him. I like him hand in the dirt on the line. But either way, I think he can be a good football player. I just think with the right coaching is what I should say. I think he's gonna be back to that production machine that he is. A lot of upside for Dorrance Armstrong. Very athletic on the football field. On to a linebacker that is, I think, maybe the most underrated player in this draft class is Dorian O'Daniel from Clemson. Well, first, I think he should go second round. Will go third. But the thing about this guy is I really can't find any weaknesses on him. Like, what are his weaknesses? He's outstanding in coverage. You don't see that from these linebackers a lot. I think maybe he needs to go to a 4-3 outside linebacker is where he would play. So he's pretty specific. A lot of guys in this class can play multiple positions at a high level. So maybe that's what drops him down. I think he has great instincts. I think he's a great tackler. I mean, there's really no weaknesses. He's not going to wow as much as a Tremaine Edmonds, Roquan Smith. So I guess maybe that's his weakness, not a big weakness. So I think he's a safe prospect. He's going to be a good football player for a long time, in my opinion. So I think he's a safe draft pick. If he ends up going third, that's a steal. Again, he's outstanding in coverage. You don't see a lot of linebackers that are as good as him in coverage as prospects. It's something that really needs to be coached up, and I think he's got it. I honestly do. He's got plenty of production, got interceptions, got pass deflections. I know it's not all about the stats, but it's very impressive. One of the most underrated players in the draft, in my opinion. On to another linebacker, maybe my favorite player in the draft. It's Tremaine Edmonds. Now you see here, should go top 8, will go top 11. I think 8's the latest he should go, so not much of a difference there. But a guy that I moved up to my top 3. My top 3 is set. There's no one else going to come into my top 3. Those are the guys that are in there. But I really, in my case, you can put any of them at 1. They're Bradley Chubb, Quentin Nelson, and Tremaine Edmonds. So not too many people have Tremaine Edmonds in the top 3, so that's why he's on here for me. As soon as I watched this tape, I moved him up there. Limitless potential. It's through the roof. He's only 19 years old. He's already good now. Freakish size. Great athlete for that size. You do not see that rare size that he has at linebacker. I think he can play multiple positions. I think he can play inside, outside. Reminds me of a Jalen Smith, Anthony Barr hybrid. Two crazy good athletes. Anthony Barr, one of the best linebackers in football. Jalen Smith, if he didn't get hurt, he would have been the first, second pick of the draft. One of the best. Honestly, Jalen Smith without that injury is probably the best linebacker maybe I've ever seen, honestly. So, and Tremaine Edmonds has similar qualities of Jalen Smith and Anthony Barr with the abilities they can do. We've seen Anthony Barr was supposed to be a 3-4 outside. They moved him to 4-3. Similar guy. You can move him around a little bit, but way bigger than Anthony Barr. So, one of my favorite players in the draft, top three player in this draft here for Tremaine Edmonds. But we're on a corner maybe here. Jaire Alexander. I think he should go first. I think he will go first. So not much of a difference there. This is one of these guys when I saw play last year, I locked him in for this year as a first rounder. Now he didn't really get much talk. He got an evaluation from the league to decide if he should go to the draft. They gave him a second round evaluation. I have him in the first round lock since early last year. So that's why he's on this list. Excellent at attacking the ball. Really might be the best in the class at attacking the ball. I mean, the top 3 guys are very good. Top 3 corners are very good at that. Playmaker, gets a lot of interceptions, a lot of pass deflections, can change the game. He's very confident. I love his attitude. He's got that right attitude that the best corners in the league have. I love it. He also can return, too, if you're looking for that. But I'm mainly talking about the corner position here. I like Jaire Alexander's game. Like it a lot. Another corner is Kevin Tolliver II, a guy that's been rising for me lately. I think he should go second, will go third round. I love his combination of size and athleticism. Now you may say, well, there's plenty of corners. The best corners in the league are 6'2", and Tolliver's just under 6'3", and they're also fast. I agree with that. He has both of those, but you see the problem with these big corners is there's always some problem. They can't tackle. It's usually they're very tight. The technique isn't there. Not smooth enough. I think he has all of it. Really, the only weaknesses is some red flags, his attitude with coaches. He's got a great, similar to Jaire Alexander, he's got a great attitude on the field. Love his confidence, but apparently coaches don't like his attitude with them, and off the field there is some concern, so maybe that's why he drops. I think he has great potential. With that size, you see corners always getting overdrafted because that size, they want to work with him. I think if he goes to the right coach, right defensive mind, we can come back. Down the road, we want to come back and say that this guy was one of the best corners in this draft. Why did he go this late? I think he has that potential. Best corners in the league have this size. not necessarily meaning that you have to draft a guy with this size, but he has the potential to. He's a guy that you want to work with. The coach wants to work with. So, with that being said, I think maybe he could slide in the second round for that reason. We've seen it happen last year. All of a sudden, right when the draft came up, the guys with the size were moving up boards like crazy. So we'll see. One more for you guys. One of my favorite players in the draft, maybe my favorite player in the draft. It's between Edmonds and Bates, I'd say. But it's going to be a safety. It's going to be Jesse Bates III from Wake Forest. I think he should go first round. I have a first round grade on him. Will go second round. Another one of those guys that I moved up in my first round grade a while ago. And you see everybody else talking about he was known as maybe a late round pick at that point. I guess those guys didn't get to the tape yet. That's what happened. But all of a sudden, everybody has him up here. Second round is the latest you'll see him graded. So he's one of my guys. That's pretty much what he is. He's a playmaker. He's a game changer. He'll make that interception that can win you the game. He'll make multiple interceptions, really. And he can return it. Very smart with the ball. He can return punts as well, kickoffs. But he'll give you great field position on those interceptions and very good instincts. See, if a play happens once by him, he'll read it. He'll know what's happening again before it actually happens. I think he can line up at either safety spot. Excellent athlete. Excellent player. I expect big things from him if he gets the chance. The only weakness for him is thin frame. And really what you worry about that is maybe pressing, but he's going to play normal safety. He's going to play back, so that goes out the window. You don't have to worry about that. And then tackling, which he came up and read plays at the line of scrimmage and made a great tackle multiple times. He's very impressive in that category. So there's another guy with not too many weaknesses for me. It's just the thin frame, really, is all it is. But if you can play, you can play. That's the bottom line. So I like Jesse Bates a lot. There's more guys I could have put on this list. A lot of sleepers. Jannard Avery from Memphis. P.J. Hall, Sam Houston State D-tackle. There's quite a few guys I could have put, more guys I could have put on this list. I just didn't want to have too many guys because then that starts making it just me listing off too many players in the draft. Rashaan Evans is a first-round guy. I have a top 12 player on my board, and most people don't have him that high. And he'll most likely go mid-first round, so another guy I could have thrown on the board there. Mason Rudolph, the quarterback from Oklahoma State, I think is a lock first rounder, even though it's late first round. And even though he can go there, I think most people have him graded as second round. Maybe some have third round. So there's more guys to put on this list, but it wouldn't really make sense if I just started listing off half the draft class here. So those are my guys. And if you guys follow me throughout this whole process, you probably could have predicted some of those. So I appreciate you guys coming back, watching the videos, being subscribers. I really appreciate all the support. Follow us on Twitter, frogs_angels, link in the description. Feel free to ask us questions. We're going to do a bold predictions video tomorrow if you want to include tomorrow, which is Friday the 20th, 4/20. If you want to include your questions, your bold predictions in comments or on Twitter, maybe we'll discuss those in the video. So we got plenty more to come. Draft is a week away. Can't wait, but plenty more to come, so stay tuned for all that. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.